Everybody, welcome back to She's Crafty Paperworks. If you're new here, I'm Jen, and today I'm sharing a fun comparison of different faux stained glass techniques for card making using the gorgeous Gilded Glass Inlay Dies from Concord and Ninth. These dies have such a beautiful Art Deco feel, and they're perfect for experimenting with different ways to create the look of stained glass in paper crafting. For this video, I made 8 different cards using a variety of materials and techniques. Some of them are quick and simple, some are a little more involved, and some definitely took way more time than I expected. By the end, I'll share which methods gave me the most realistic stained glass effect, which ones were the easiest to put together, and which ones I think are actually worth the extra time and effort. If you love card making comparisons, die cutting ideas, and trying out different techniques, I think you're going to enjoy this one. So let's get started. For my first card, I used mirror cardstock because I thought the reflective shine would help mimic the look of stained glass. And I can absolutely see why this seemed like a good idea. The shine is beautiful, and it definitely gives the card a special finish. But once I put everything together, I found that the metallic surface actually works against the stained glass effect I was hoping to achieve. Instead of reading as translucent glass, it feels a little too reflective and opaque. So the card itself is pretty, and I do like the overall look, but it doesn't really give me that stained glass feel. I'd say this one is more of a decorative metallic version than a faux glass effect. Still, I always think it's worth testing ideas like this because sometimes you just don't know what will work until you actually put it together. For the second card, I used my Concord and Ninth cardstock and added a piece of acetate over the top before finishing it with the black frame and sentiment. Honestly, I could have stopped right here because this effect already looks fantastic. The acetate adds a subtle shine and helps create that smooth glass-like surface, while the cardstock underneath gives the color and structure a nice bold look. It feels simple, polished, and really effective without needing a lot of extra steps. This is one of those techniques that make you pause and think, okay, that's actually really good. It has a clean finish, the colors stay vibrant, and the acetate gives it just enough of that glossy stained glass feel without adding too much complexity. If you want a technique that looks beautiful but doesn't take forever to make, this is definitely one to try. However, I was going for a more transparent finish, so I continued on. For the third card, I used acetate again, but this time I colored the back side with alcohol markers after adding the gold frame on the front. This definitely gave me that translucent stained glass feel I was going for. I really like how the light shines through the acetate and the colored sections have that bright, glassy look that feels very appropriate for this style of card. That said, I did notice that the alcohol marker coloring looked a little streaky in some areas. It wasn't terrible, and depending on the look you want, you may not mind that at all. But for me, the streakiness kept it from feeling as polished as I wanted. So this one is really an interesting option. If you want bright color and translucency, this is a great option. But I think the finish depends a lot on how smooth your marker application is. To soften that streaky look, I tried the same idea on vellum instead of acetate, and this ended up being one of my favorite results. The vellum muted the streakiness just enough while still allowing light to pass through, which gave the card a lovely stained glass look. It has that soft, translucent quality that feels really close to the effect I was hoping to create. What I especially love about this version is that it still feels light and airy, but the vellum makes everything look a little more blended and refined. It takes the edge off of the marker streaks without losing the transparency. This technique strikes a really nice balance between beauty and ease, and I think it's a great option if you want something that looks realistic but is also quick. This was hands down the fastest technique I tried. For the fifth card, I used colored vellum and pieced together the inlay die design. I attached double-sided adhesive sheets to the back of each vellum color before die cutting. Then removed the backing and assembled each piece. I figured this would be more precise than relying on adhesive just on the background, which I think would give a more splotchy vellum appearance. The result was fantastic, and I really love the look of the finished card. The colored vellum gives you that soft, luminous effect reminiscent of stained glass, and the inlay design keeps everything neat and structured. The only downside is that this method takes more time, a lot more time than the previous one, but it's because you have to prep each color to add that adhesive, then you're die cutting the pieces, removing the backing, then carefully assembling, and that can get a little tedious. So while the end result is beautiful, it's definitely more of a labor of love technique than applying the marker route. For card 6, I wanted to experiment with my distress embossing glazes, so I built up a couple of layers of the frame to create a deeper well for the powder. These are more transparent than regular embossing powders, which makes them, I think, a great candidate for a faux stained glass effect. To get inside the wells I created, I used my distress embossing pen to apply the embossing medium and then added the glaze and then heat embossed it. This technique looks okay, but I did have some difficulty controlling the embossing powders from sneaking into the other wells and discoloring some of the areas that I had already colored. It also took the most time and effort of any of the cards I made. Between building up the frame, carefully applying the embossing medium, adding the glaze, heat setting, and repeating for each different glaze color, it was definitely the most involved card. So while I like the effect, I'm not completely sure if the final look justifies the extra work that was needed to go into this card. In my opinion, card 7 has the most realistic stained glass effect. I created it using Ranger's texture paste in transparent gloss. I mixed that with my distress reinkers and then applied the colored paste into each section of the design. This technique gave me such a beautiful result. The paste has a glossy, translucent quality that closely mimics glass, and the reinkers add rich color without making it opaque. This method wasn't quite as labor intensive as the embossing glaze card, but it still did take a lot of time because I did have to pause several times and let the paste dry fully so the colors wouldn't blend together. That drying time is definitely something to keep in mind if you do try this technique yourself. It's not hard. It's just similar to using your paste with stencils, but it does require some patience to get the paste in evenly into the wells. That said, the final result is gorgeous, and it really does look the most like real stained glass to me. If I were picking the technique that best captured the look I was going for, this would be it. And finally, I had to include the classic elementary school technique, tissue paper and Mod Podge. This one is such a fun throwback, and honestly, it still works surprisingly well for card making. For this card, I glued tissue paper onto white cardstock with Mod Podge, covered the front, let it dry, die cut the pieces, and then inlaid them. The process is pretty simple, and I love that this technique is easy to understand and accessible for a lot of crafters. It's also a great way to use supplies you may already have on hand. The biggest challenge for me was trying to avoid those tiny ripples in the tissue while gluing it down. That's really the one thing that can make the final result look a little less smooth. But even with that slight texture, I still think it gives a lovely soft stained glass effect. Next time, I think I will try gluing it onto an acetate card base versus the white card base to give a more translucent appearance. So those are my 8 faux stained glass card techniques. This was such a fun experiment, and I have a few favorites. If I had to choose, I'd say the texture paste card gives me the best stained glass feel. The vellum version with the alcohol markers was the quickest and easiest to make. The colored vellum inlay card checks all the boxes for stained glass effect while also being cleaner and neater in appearance. And the acetate over cardstock option offers the most color choices. Well, I hope this gives you some ideas for trying faux stained glass effects in your own card making. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps small channels get seen. Subscribe for more card making inspiration, and let me know in the comments which technique was your favorite, or which one you'd like to try first. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. We're going to Hawaii.